Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Fourth Quarter Life. My name is Holt, and today we're going to tackle another one of the big questions in the world of video games, which is, what is a complete collection? Today, we're going to talk about the original Microsoft Xbox because I have a complete North American/US collection of the original Xbox. The recognized number for the Xbox is 884 official games. But that number, I've seen it as low as 864, and I've seen it well into the 900s and over 1,000 sometimes, depending on everything that you can include in there. So at the end of this video, I am going to talk about my actual collection, how many I have, and what I consider my complete collection to be, what that number is. So what I'm setting out to do in this video is just use the Xbox, the original Xbox North American US release set as a guide to try to look at what do we consider to be a complete collection. For every collector, it's something different. So we're going to go over those now, and we're going to start with some of the easiest ones and some of the most obvious ones, including those that are sitting right in front of me right now. These are what you call the platinum hits, sometimes called greatest hits, sometimes called best of, but it is the re-released versions of released official games. Typically, nothing is different on the game itself, except they have different artwork in the case, maybe a different case color. In the case of the X-Men Legends here, same game. This one is the original. This one is the Platinum Hits. It comes in the silver case in an Xbox. Every once in a while, you'll get something like this Fable. So this is the Fable Lost Chapters. And this actually is extra material for the game Fable. It was only released in a Platinum Hits format. This is one of the first ones that, is it part of the set? Is it not part of the official set? Because while it is new material for the Xbox, and this is the only way it was released, so should Fable The Lost Chapters be in? So next up, we have the not for resale variation. These are usually the exact same game. They just have a cover variant, usually with a little box that just says not for resale. And a lot of times they don't have a UPC on the back. Sometimes they do. The reason for that is because they're usually either sold in bundles or they're sold with hardware like a console or a controller. So not for resale, that's an easy one. A lot of people like to collect them just because they're neat, but are they considered part of the complete set? Next up, we have these, which are the bonus DVDs. Each of these games, and many more, they have a variation where they come with a bonus DVD. Usually that bonus DVD has some extras or some artwork or something on it. And the bonus DVDs may contain things that relate to the game, to the developer, or just the development of the game. But does that content make this anything more than just a cover variation? And is it worthy of being considered in the set versus not in the set? In the same vein as a bonus DVD, these are bonus DVDs, but they were packaged or sold separately, usually with a pre-order or something like that. But they just provide that same information as you would get in a bonus DVD version, but it's actually on a separate DVD. So do these belong in the total collection number? Probably not. I don't think I would include these because they're not actual games. They're just bonus DVDs. Up next, we have a big player in the 2000s, which is the bonus music soundtrack CD. All of these games were shipped with and without a music CD, and it's usually just denoted by something like that, just a little banner or a little symbol on the cover. They don't have any change. There's the symbol up there. They don't have any change in the gameplay, but does the music CD add enough for it to be considered a different release in the overall collection number? That's a tough one. All right, now here's where we're going to start getting a little bit more difficult on whether they're in the collection number or out. We now have the collector's editions and limited editions, including steelbooks. Now, typically, the games are the same, but sometimes they have discs or other things even on the disc that make them collector's editions, whether it be art, music, interviews, or even extra chapters in each of these. So each of these games has a standard edition and the limited edition or special edition behind it. The covers are almost always different. A lot of times they're foil, or like this one, like Jade Empire. You've probably seen this one. It's a fairly common one. You see them fairly common. The red Jade Empire limited edition. the Lone Wolf Mech Assault also. It is foil versus non-foil, and it says, obviously, limited edition on it. And then this is the Steelbook of the Splinter Cell versus the Knots. And then my favorite one of these, which is the Need for Speed Most Wanted. You have the Black Edition. Not only do you have this Black Edition, but this one also, if you take off the slipcase, the artwork on the disc itself is also different, just slightly different. So, do these differences constitute a big enough difference to be considered into that total collection number? For this one, similar to the collector's edition, this one is collector's edition artwork only. This one, in this case, it is a GameStop released special limited edition artwork that was not actually sold in the game. You actually got the artwork as a separate piece in an envelope, or I believe they might have been given out in frames. And then if you wanted to, you could open the frame and put it in your game. This is the standard Counter-Strike. This is the Counter-Strike with a foil. I don't know if you can see it's foil. It's got a foil bar across here, and it says limited edition, collector's edition artwork. And it's actually numbered. They're all numbered. They only made, I believe, 2,000 of this. I can double check myself because I do love a good double checking of numbers. So this is another one. Is this a big enough difference to make it a reason to go into the collection number? Some people do put these in their collection numbers. Next up, we have this unique copy of TOCA or TCA Race Driver 2. This is the original copy. This is the copy that actually comes packaged with a complete copy of Colin McRae Rally 04 included on disc. So inside, not only do you have TOCA, but behind it, you have the Colin McRae Rally manual, and then behind the disc, you have the other disc. You have both games in disc and manual. So to me, this one's pretty neat. It's pretty unique. In my brain, I don't know. I want to say this actually is a separate entry into the total collection number. Some people would, some people wouldn't. See, it's not always that easy. Anyway, moving on to the next one. So along the same vein as that TOCA with the free item inside being a free game, you have Shrek Super Party. Here's the initial one. Here's a special edition that came with a free Shrek watch. There's really no difference in the games. So does a special item that doesn't affect gameplay actually make it worthy of being in the collection number or not? Another big player in the 2000s Xbox era were movie tie-in games. A lot of the times these movie tie-in games would actually come with a physical redemption for a movie ticket to go see the movie. So all of these games were based on movies, which are based on books, but they're all based on movies at the time. So each one of these has a variation to where it comes with or without it'll usually say on the front right there, it'll say whether it has a movie ticket or it doesn't. So they all have literally physical tickets. This is the King Kong manual. Took it out of the King Kong, and in the centerfold of the manual, inserted in there is a paper King Kong redeemable ticket. Does something like that. I know that a lot of times having the ticket increases the value, but does that constitute a big enough difference to make more than one entry into the overall collection? Let's move on to the next ones. This is an interesting one. This is another one only. This is a Blockbuster exclusive game in North America, Freestyle Soccer. The difference is, it's not just the fact that this one says Blockbuster on the front, which it does. It comes in a Blockbuster case. This is the US version. This is the Canadian version. Same game. Was also a Blockbuster exclusive, but for some reason in Canada, it does not say Blockbuster exclusive on the cover. Why? Don't know. Canadians, they're awesome. Who knows? They just didn't want Blockbuster on there. Is it a big enough difference? So this is another interesting one. This is one that was very hard for me to find. This is the first edition of Tetris Worlds. It is a standalone game that you only play locally on your original Xbox. This is the re-released or the second version with the Xbox Live banner across it. See how this one doesn't have it? So you can actually play multiplayer online with this version. You can't with this version. Everything else about them is pretty much the same. Just adding Xbox Live, adding an actual game-changing from single player to online player, does that merit inclusion into the overall regional number count? This one to me does. Here's another one that's kind of a gray area for me. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. These are super packs / double packs, basically 2 discs and 2 manuals for 2 complete games in new packaging. All these games were released individually in their own packaging, and then they go back later and they re-release them. Most of them come like the Crash, the Shrek and Shark Tale, the Sonic Mega Collection, and the Sonic Force Heroes. Most of them came in the Platinum Hits era when they're trying to just get a little bit more money out of you before they move on to the Xbox 360. But then you have things like this Seablade and Outlaw Golf, which I believe might have been Blockbuster only, but it is a 2-pack. It's in the original green packaging. It's not a Platinum Hits. Does it belong in the set? Do any of them belong in the set? They're all very unique, and actually some of these, the Sonic ones, are very pricey. The Shrek 2 one is getting very hard to find. All in all, these are very much worthy of being in your collection, but are they included in the overall collection number? Now we come to a biggie. Literally, these are all big. These are slip-cased or boxed collections, kind of like the last ones we just saw, and they usually contain the same retail releases just put into a box. The Halo Triple Pack, we'll open this one up because it's open, has the 3 games. You can buy all 3 of these. These were all available individually, not in the slipcase. The Grand Theft Auto collection here, these games are also available separately and they have different art. So this one I think deserves inclusion in the number for sure. This one's the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy. There are not individual games in here. They're just, it's kind of like a DVD Blu-ray type set, right? The games are all in there like that. They all have their manuals, are all tucked in, right? You've got your manual for each one tucked in, but they're not in cases. It's the same information. It's the same game discs. It's the same game manuals. Does this, inside this slipcase, deserve to be included in the collection number? Up until this point, they've all been pretty easy. Been pretty easy to say, yeah, it's in, yeah, it's out. These are a little tougher. These are the Xbox exhibition discs. These were demo collections full of games. Most of them had 9 games on each. They were sold for $7.99, so they were sold separately at the register, typically at GameStops and game places, Toys R Us. So they were not included for free in anything. They are standalone, separate demo collections with something like this. There were only 7 of them made. They were $7.99 each. Do the Xbox exhibition discs make it into your complete collection number? Similar to the exhibition discs that I just showed are the original Xbox magazine insert discs. These are also demos of usually 3 to 7 games, depending on the issue. They were issued in both plastic slimline cases like these, as well as paper envelopes. These are demos, and they also have things like interviews and music. So they do have unique individual material. What do you think? They're official releases by Xbox, by Microsoft in their official Xbox magazine. It's a tough one, isn't it? These are the display-only copies. These were not supposed to be sold. These were the boxes that were on the shelf when you went into a GameStop, Toys R Us, Sears, you name it, Target, so that you could, they wanted something so that you could pick this up and you could look at the back, you could look at the pictures, so you could actually see if this is something you wanted to buy, but they did not want to have to deal with theft and shoplifting. These were also at Blockbuster for rentals. Whenever it came around time to actually getting rid of these and selling them and moving on, they would stick them in there because they just needed a case to put them in. The 4 display onlys, I don't consider them new. I don't actually consider them real games. I just think they're neat and they're in my collection and I love them, but let's move on to another one. And here we are we're at the end. This is the last one that I have for you. This is Dragon's Lair, and on the little box here, it says compatible with Xbox and PS2. And the reason is because much like the original Dragon's Lair, these are DVDs, and as long as you have a DVD player, you can then use the remote control to control the game just like you would have on the original laser active version in the arcade. So while this does say DVD video, PS2 and Xbox compatible, I've seen it show up in a lot of people's collections. Does it belong in the overall number? Technically, it's an Xbox game. What do you think? This is the last of it. This is the end of the video, except for a little wrap up. This is the end of the video, and I just wanted to show you how crazy it can get when you are a quote completist and you're trying to get an entire collection. To get the entire North American Halo catalog, I got the original, the Game of the Year paper cover, the Game of the Year Collector's Edition foil cover, the Not for Resale cover, as well as, again, the Platinum Hits. The Halo is the king. All hail mighty Halo, because they have more variations. There's even more that I don't even have out, but there are even more. I think there are 7 or 8 different versions of just the original Halo Combat Evolved. So at what point can you say, I have a complete collection of the GameCube, or I have a complete collection of the Dreamcast? All right, guys, so here's the big wrap up. My numbers, I came up with 868 unique games, not platinum hits, not cover variations, 868 total different games available, not including Xbox Live Arcade, not including downloadable, just physical, unique games. That's what I came up with. Now, my whole collection that I counted, I'm just under 1,000. I'm at 991 games for the different variations and different games for the original Xbox. The numbers that I did when I was doing my research, the accepted number of unique games for the American Xbox is 884. Unfortunately, there's nowhere do they talk about exactly how they came up with that number and what's included. That's what makes collecting individual, because what I consider to be part of the full set is not what you consider to be part of the full set, and it's not what these people consider to be part of the full set. So in the end, collect what you want. Collect what makes you happy. That's what I did, and that's what I still do to this day. Hopefully this starts a discussion. We'll see. I hope that you at least found it interesting, and I hope that I'm not dragging this on too long, because collect what you want is the key to this whole thing. Hopefully you're playing games, you're being nice to everybody, you're having a great day, and you're watching, and maybe you'll like, maybe you'll subscribe, but most importantly, tune in on the next video, because I have no idea what it's going to be, so let's find out together. All right? You guys have a great, great day, and we'll see you again. Thanks again.